Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How's it going, everyone? As
Good
always,
afternoon.
how you doing? How you doing? So, as always, just give everybody a few minutes to get the audio connected, and then we'll get started. All right. Thought this was saying somebody was in the waiting room. Okay, looks like we're good. Okay, so let's look at where we're going today. The last class we ended at 3.3 because we did solving equations. And so we should be looking at 3.4. Let me get the official title for 3.4. It looked like I ran these notes together a little bit. So give me a second. Get that official title. All right. Okay, so, okay, we only have this section, then that'll be it for chapter 3. Okay. All right, so we'll just do this section and then stop right there. Okay, that's fine. All right, so the title of this section is actually Intro to Problem Solving. I don't know, like I said, I don't know why I ran it this way. It had to been a reason, but I probably can do that better too. And it's 3.4. All right, so if you just came in, I'll just let a few people in. The title is Intro to Problem Solving. And we're looking at section 3.4. 3.4 is the last section out of chapter 3. And we'll talk about what that means for us in a second. And let me erase some of this stuff. I'll put it back. All right, so the black is the word problem. And so we're just gonna do a few word problems out of this section. And then of course, if ever you have any questions on anything, make sure you let me know. We can attack them accordingly. If you have a question on a word problem, you have to bring that word problem because it's easy for me to pick out a word problem that has nothing to do with the problem you had, with the problem you were trying. So, when it comes to word problems, there may be a word here or there that may be throwing you off. So bring that specific word problem, whether it be to the office hour or, if we set up a session, or email. So you can take a picture with your phone or tell me, it's 3.4, number 2, something like that. So we can go to that exact word problem and make sure we address the issues that you had. Okay. So this right here, twice the sum of a number and 4 is the same as 4 times the number decreased by 12. find the number. Now, under, under the word problem, you can see that I already wrote it out. But I just want to make sure we're okay with the keywords and what caused us to do what we did as far as the setup is concerned. So I'm going to throw my stuff back in here. All right, there we go. So if you look at the purple, the first one, it says 2 times. Oh, it says twice. Twice is times 2. All right. So then it says we want to times 2 by the sum. Sum is addition. So that's why right here on the left side of my equation, I have 2 times x plus 4. And we have to use parentheses there because it says twice the sum. Now, if it said twice the number, then that would have been 2x with no parentheses. So make sure we're okay with what's being said and how it's being said. Twice the sum, you're going to have to use parentheses. But if it said twice the number, it would have been 2 times x. All right. So is everybody okay with that purple, that left side of my equation before we go to the next piece?
You say if we say, or if the parentheses wasn't there?
No. Remember, I did that. We're talking about the wording. The wording is going to tell us what to write next as far as the parentheses and stuff. So the fact that it says twice the sum means that I have to write it the way I wrote it, which is 2 times x plus 4. That means I need to use parentheses.
Okay.
But if the wording said twice the number, and I think I have, no, I don't see one down here. Okay, but it's a little further down. See how this one says 3 times a number?
Okay.
That's going to be 3x. Notice no parentheses here. We're going to get to it. It's a little further down.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
I wonder why I wrote it like this. You saw what I did here? I wrote the title down here.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see. Oh, okay. I think I see what I did. Got 1. I know for a fact these 2 are going to be in there. And so, okay, yep. I know it. So I see what I did. It was because of that switching book. Okay, but anyway, I already told you I was intro to problem solving. But all right, but we good to go. Never get too many word problems, right? I know y'all love word problems. All right, so let's get back to it. So twice the sum is 2 times parentheses x plus 4. Twice the sum of a number and 4. Now it says is the same as. That's your equal sign. So you notice I wrote that in red. I tried to color code it a little bit. Keywords going to that symbol. So is the same as is the same thing as your equal sign. And then we have 4 times the number. So there it goes right there. 4 times the number, 4x, decreased by 12. So decreased by is going to be subtraction. And that's how we got 4x minus 12. So the main challenge for you guys when it comes to word problems is this right here, setting up an equation according to the words that you see. Once you set up your equation, then we'll just solve the same way we did last section. So before we go into solving, is everybody okay with this setup? Keywords and all the good stuff like that. All right. So now we'll solve by, notice what we did here, distributed 2. So 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 4 is 8. So that gives us 2x plus 8 equal to 4x minus 12. Now, next move, we want to get all of our terms with x on one side of the equation, all of our terms without x to the other. Doesn't matter what you do, as long as you do it correct mathematically. So I decided to subtract 2x from both sides. It cancels on the left. 4x minus 2x on the right is just 2x. And that leaves me with 8 equal to 2x minus 12. So now I need to take the 12 to the other side by adding it to both sides. Add 12 to both sides. That'll give us 20 equal to 2x. Then we divide by 2. X is equal to 10. Any questions?
I just gotta keep playing with it.
Yeah, it's gonna take some practice, especially if you haven't either not done it before or haven't done it in a while. It's gonna take some time for you to get back in the flow of things. And what I always say to people who do find themselves in that type of position, don't get frustrated with yourself. Give yourself a chance. It's just like with food. You eat it, but you don't expect to get the nutrients immediately. You got to give yourself a chance to digest, what you just took in. So the same thing goes mentally. When somebody throw a whole bunch of numbers and a process and variable letters at you, you have to give yourself a chance to digest or process, what you just took in. So yep. Math is all about practice, and I always related to football as well. Like when it comes to football, if you get on the field and you're always thinking about what to do next, you can find yourself in a position of getting hurt if you're not careful. But you want to they practice so much that they're doing stuff and then they're reacting to what they see. And so in mathematics, you want to be able to react to the symbols that you see and react to what's going on. And when somebody present a problem to you, you want to be able to react to it and not always be sitting trying to think, okay, what do I do now? What do I do now? Just like if I had that 4 times x plus 3, I know I need to distribute because I have parentheses. Well, if I don't have parentheses, I'm not distributing. So, just being able to react to the symbols that you see. So here we have a 48-inch stick is to be cut into 2 pieces so that the longer piece is 3 times the shorter. Find the length of each piece. All right. All right. So we have 2 pieces, a shorter piece and a longer piece, and they describe the longer piece in terms of the shorter piece. So let me erase this because it's not a part of it yet. So we have the short piece. If we call the short piece x, the longer piece would then be 3 times x because the longer piece is 3 times the shorter piece. All right. All right. So if that's the case, now if we let this diagram represent our board, I still have my eraser on. Come back. Okay. If I let this diagram represent the board, this is what we're calling it, right? Stick. Let the green represent the stick. We have a short piece and a smaller piece. The short piece is x, the longer piece is 3x, but altogether the stick is 48 inches. So the equation that we could create, okay. The equation that we can create from that diagram is that x plus 3x is equal to 48. The shorter piece plus the longer piece is equal to 48 inches. All right, any questions before we go any further? All right. So now we can go ahead and solve that. X plus 3x is 4x. Then divide by 4. X is equal to 12. All right, so before we finish the problem off, not completely finished yet, is everybody okay with how we got to 12? Make sure we're good.
How did you get to 12?
All right, are you okay with how we got to 4x equal to 48? By adding x and
No.
3x?
They're adding X and 3X.
There's a 1 in front of this X.
Okay,
And so that'll give us 4X equal to 48. So are you okay with getting
Okay.
4?
now I got it.
Okay, and then divide both sides by 4. Okay. cool.
Right, I got it now.
All
Okay,
right.
thank you.
Yep, no problem. So once we get to 12, we do have to go back and make sure whenever you get an answer, and I didn't mention it last problem because it was more like just writing equation, but this is an actual application because we have an example, a real life example, what they were trying to explain. So whenever you have that type of scenario, you do need to go back and make sure you actually answer the question. So we got X equal to 12, but it tells us to find the length of each piece. So if you just give 12, the answer probably will still be wrong because you need the length of each piece. So you go back and X is represented, or X represents 12, and then 3 times X, that means 3 times 12 is the longer piece, so that'd be 36. So your two answers will be 12 and 36, short piece is 12, longer piece is 36. All right, questions.
So you said short pieces 12, the long pieces 3X. Okay, I'm just talking out, okay.
Not a problem. All right, can we go to the next one? Everybody
Yep.
good? All right. So let's look at the next one. Congress had a total of 435 Democrats and Republicans. Let me say it better. Congress had a total of 435 Democrat and Republican representatives. Say it like that. There were 59 fewer Democrats than Republicans. Find the number from each party. All right. Everybody written it down? Okay. So the green, we haven't get that's the answer. So let me erase that. So I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. So we need to be able to represent each unknown, just like we did with the pieces of board with an algebraic representation. So it says there were 59 fewer Democrats than Republicans. So if that's the case, we can let X be our Republicans, and then X minus 59 will be our Democrats, because there were 59 fewer Democrats than Republicans. All right. So is everybody okay with that? Because in each case, whenever you have more than one unknown, of course, with any unknown, you can just call it X. But if you have more than one unknown, you want to be able to represent it with an algebraic representation. Now, with the problems that you guys have, what you don't want to do is call one X and then call the other one Y. You don't want to introduce another variable, because the more variables you have, the more equations you will need in order to be able to solve. And all we want to do is create one equation. We don't want to create a system of equations. And each problem you guys get, you will be able to set it up in such a way that all you need to do is use one variable and then write the other one in terms of that variable. Okay. So now we know it was a total of 435 representatives altogether. So what we're going to do is take what we have for the Republicans, take what we have for the Democrats, add them together, and they're supposed to equal 435. So that's how we got this equation right here. All right. So before we go any further, make sure we're okay.
So what are we just dividing 59 into 435?
Well, we haven't gotten to that far yet. Right now, all we did was set up the equation.
Okay.
So in those parentheses, are just
Mhm.
grouping symbols. They don't add any value. I just want to make sure we separate. Okay, this is coming from the Republicans. This is coming from the Democrats. We're about to drop the parentheses in a second.
Okay,
All right, so is everybody good up to this point? We haven't started solving yet. Everybody straight? All right, so now to solve, the first thing we would do is combine our like terms. X and X, that's 1X plus 1X will give me 2X's. And the minus 59 is still there, equal to 435. Okay. So now I want to move the 59 to the other side of the equation, so I'm going to add 59 to both sides. Then that would leave me with 2X equal to 494. Then divide both sides by 2. And X is equal to 247. Everybody good with the 247 before we finish off the problem?
no,
All right, what you got?
okay. Don't you have 494 right here?
Yes. Right here. Oh, my eraser's still on. Hold on. Yeah, 494 right here. Mhm. And then we divided that by 2.
How did you get to 494?
When we added 59 to both sides to the 435, remember we had 435 at
Okay,
first.
okay, you added, okay.
Mhm.
You added 4. Sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions.
Ah, no, I'm so tired of you. No, I'm just playing. You are okay. It's all right. So are we good? To the
Okay,
247, everybody straight. So we good? All right.
okay,
So yeah, so remember we had to add 59 because there was a minus 59 right here. We're trying to get X by itself. So we add 59 to both sides. And then from there, that left us with 2X equal to 494. And then when you divide both sides by 2 to get the 2 off of X, 494 divided by 2 is 247. All right. So let's look at, I'm trying, I gotta do my, see if I can get it back. Yep. So once again, going back to making sure you actually answer the question, it says find the number of, or the number from each party. So I need to take that 247, see how it applies according to my algebraic representation. So X is equal to 247. So that means my Republicans had 247 people there. And then 247 minus 59 gives me my 188 for the Democrats. And so those would be my 2 answers. All right, any questions, any questions? All right, somebody say something in the chat. Oh, not a problem at all. All right, so let's go to the next one. All right, so let's go here. 3 times the number minus 4 is equal to 2 times the number plus 5. Find the number. All right. So let's look at how we can set up this equation. 3 times a number minus 4. That's my purple over here. So that's 3 times the variable, then minus 4. Is equal to is my equal sign. And then we have 2 times the number plus 5. So this one was kind of straightforward, versus the last one, the first one we did. This one's kind of more straightforward, just actually saying minus 4 and plus 5 versus saying keywords like sum of or the difference or something like that. So this one's kind of more straightforward. So we have 3x minus 4 equal to 2x plus 5. All right, and they ask us to find the number. So before we do that, anybody have any problem with the setup? So we are right here currently. All right. So when you're here, remember we have variable on both sides of the equation. So we need to get our terms with variable on one side, turns without variable to the other side. Doesn't matter whether I decide to move the 3x to the right or move the 2x to the left. Just have to make sure you do it correctly. So what I decided to do was move my 3x. I subtracted 3x from both sides. And that left me with -4 on the left because my 3x is canceled. And then on the right, 2x minus 3x is -1x. So that's why I have -x plus 5. All right, everybody good? So now I need to move the 5 to the left. So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. And that'll leave me with -9 equal to -x. And then notice we have -x over there. We're not solving for -x. We're always solving for +x. So I need to take that negative to the other side. And so my answer is going to be x is equal to 9. So that negative to negative turns positive. All right, any questions?
I caught that one.
And see, and that's what's going to happen. The more you do it, the more you see it, the more you catch, it's gonna, you're going to be all right.
Pray for me.
We'll do. Everybody good before we go to this next one? I think this is the last one. Yep, last one in this section. Okay. And yep, so let's knock this out. And then we'll talk about how we're going to move from there. So we have a larger angle measures 3 degrees, more than twice the measure of a smaller angle. The two angles are supplementary. Find the measure of each angle. Give me a chance to write that down. All right. So now it mentions a key word here, which is supplementary. So I just want to make sure that we're okay with what that means. So whenever you have two angles that are complementary, that means the two angles add up to give you 90 degrees. But then if you have two angles that are supplementary, that means they add up to give you 180 degrees. So I gave you both of them because there's a chance if they do use supplementary, that means it's possible you could see complementary. So you need to know, both of them. All right. So once again, complementary angles means that you have two angles that add up to give you 90 degrees. Supplementary angles means that you have two angles that add up to give you 180 degrees. All right. So let's go back to the word problem. It says the larger angle measures 3 degrees more than twice the measure of a smaller angle. The two angles are supplementary. Find the measure of each angle. So we have a smaller angle and we have a larger angle. And one is, the larger one is described in terms of the smaller one. So let's go back to it. The larger angle is 3 degrees more than twice the smaller. So more than always means addition. And then it says twice the measure. We talked about twice before. That means you multiplying by 2. So what we're going to do right here is call, let me erase this part. We're going to call the smaller angle X and then the larger angle 3 plus 2X. So go back to what it says. It says that it's 3 degrees more than twice the smaller. So that's what we got going on right here. 3 degrees plus 2 times X, or 3 more than 2 times the smaller, which is X. Any questions? All right. So now these angles are supplementary. So I can add them together. And when I add them together, that means they should add up to 180 degrees. So that's what I wrote right here in blue. That's how I set up my equation. Recognize that because they're supplementary, I can add the two angles together. X plus 3 plus 2X is equal to 180 degrees. If they were complementary, adding the two together, they would be set equal to 90 degrees. All right, so everybody okay to solve? So just like before, these grouping symbols here, I just used that just to signify what was coming from what. X is coming from the small angle, 3 plus 2X is coming from the larger angle. So they don't hold any value. So we can go ahead and drop them and then combine our like terms. X and 2X is 3X. So that gives us 3X plus 3 equal to 180.
The X is a 2.
There's a 2 in front of this X, and then there's a 1 in front of this X.
Right, okay.
So we have 3X plus 3 equal to 180. So now I need to subtract 3 from both sides so that I can have X, the X term on one side by itself. That'll give me 3X equal to 177. And then go ahead and divide by 3. X will be equal to 59. All right, so we have 59, x is equal to 59. Is everybody okay before we look to finish off this problem? All right, so just like before, it asks for each. This one asks for each. So here we go over here. X is 59, so that means our smaller angle is equal to 59. And then we can find our larger angle one of two ways. You can either go ahead and plug it into X, and that's what I did right here, 3 times, well, 3 plus 2 times 59. 2 times 59 is 118, then add 3, that's 121. Or since there's supplementary angles, I could have just subtracted 59 from 180, and I still would have got the 121. So either way, it should work out for you once you solve for X, but you do have to give your smaller angle, which is 59 degrees, and your larger angle, which is 121, in order for the answer to be completely correct. All right, any questions?
Can you move it over a little bit so I can see it?
Like that?
There you go.
Mhm. All right, any questions before we move off this problem? Make sure we are okay.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Is everybody good before we scroll up? Everybody? All right, so let me make sure my stuff is accurate. Looking at this, yep, we got 2, 2 to 2, 5, 3, 1, 3, 4. Okay, so test 1 is 2, 2 to, through 2, 5, 3, 1 through 3, 4. So that is because we're done. We just did 3, 4. So next class, I will open up the floor for questions. I'm not going to do anything else new today because that's the end of the chapter. No need to try to push it or anything like that. But your test has already been posted. You should have access to it already. Your homework, don't forget, it's unlimited amount of tries, but your test, you only get 2 shots to get the best grade possible. Unless something crazy happened, all you gotta do is communicate. There's nothing but opening it back up. But your test review, you have that as well to look at to see what you need to study for, practice on, whatever. That's set up as a homework. You can do that unlimited amount of tries before you actually get into the test and mess up one of your attempts. You don't have to do it. If you want to, it's fine. If you don't, it's still fine. If you decide to do it and you score 85 or better, I will add 5 points to that actual test. That will not be reflected until I do final grading. So there's not going to be a magical 5 points that boost your grade up, just out the blue. No, that's not going to be able to be adjusted until, until I do final grades. That's when I'll do that. But you'll know if you scored at 85 or better on your test review. All right. Let's see. We need a due date too, don't we? I know somebody was just asking. I heard somebody say, what's the due date? All right. So, nope. Let me get back to the right screen. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and open.
So we got to go to our math lab and go to like 2.2.
Yep. So these are your homeworks that are available. And then you have your test review, and notice that category, the blue circle, all of these are homework set up, unlimited amount of tries. Then you have test 1 right here.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. And so here you can adjust what you see if you just want to see homeworks, or if you just want to see tests. You just see the test. See, I got 2 attempts. All right, so it's up to you how you want to view it. So today is 126. So that's 2. So February 6th, I think it should be a good date for all of this content to be due. and that'll be at midnight. So, and you'll see it all reflected on MATLAB. I haven't changed it yet because I just came with it right now. And then with anything, as with anything, if you have any conflicts, have any issues, something happened, like I told you before, the goldfish jumped out the bowl when you're trying to knock this stuff out. Shoot me an email, man. Let's just talk about it. We'll go from there. If I need to give you an extension and all that stuff, it can be done. But I wouldn't know unless you tell me and we talk.
Yeah.
So, yep. So any questions, concerns, comments, anything, anybody, even if by usual standards in your mind, you say there's no reason for him to give me an extension, you won't know unless you ask, right? So let's talk about it. If stuff get too hectic in your life, couldn't get it done by February 6th, any number of conversation. All right. Anything, anybody before we close today? Any questions, concerns, comments? Anything, anybody?
I'm not sure how to open up the stuff to access our schoolwork
Okay,
because for all my other classes.
I'll talk to you about that before we close. So I'll let everybody else go off that, and then I'll talk to
Okay.
you. So stay behind.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, not a problem. So anything else? Anybody else? Everybody good? So like I said, try the stuff out. Y'all got this weekend. It's only Wednesday. Try the stuff out. At least hit the test review before next class. See if you have any questions. I'm gonna open up the floor for questions first next class. See if y'all have any. Don't nobody have nothing, then we'll just go ahead into the next section. So I will open up the floor for that. Other than that, you guys be good. Be safe because we're supposed to be getting some more snow if you're local. So be safe. And you have a great weekend. See you on Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Tucker, hey,
Yes.
thank you. This
Hey,
time
hey.
to Coville talk.
Mhm.
I'm getting ready to try when class is over to see if my lab open back up.
Okay. I saw your email and waiting on response from the rep now. So just sometimes take a little bit. But
Okay.
I know your situation. So of course, Grace is going to be, given to you so you can get caught up and everything.
Yeah.
So you ain't
And
got to worry
then
about it.
they-
Mhm.
Okay, they sent me an email saying it's open back up. I could get
Oh.
back in, but it ain't
Okay.
have my work up there that I did.
Okay. I know I saw work from you.
Yeah, so she said you might have to put my work back in, after I get back access.
Okay, hold on 1 second before you get off. I want to make sure I see what I saw before, unless they just had to do a purge and just completely reset it or something. No, I see your work. Yeah, because you got 100 for the first one, and then you started the second assignment. Yeah, I still see it.
Okay. That's
Yep.
good.
So you let me
All
know
right.
if you don't see it, and then we'll go from there.
All right, thank you.
All right, no problem. Let's see what my shares are. All right, Mr. Lamont. Mr. Lamont, you said that you were having problems getting into MATLAB.
Yes, like I haven't accessed it, so I'm not sure how to open it up or if I have a login or not, or if my login is just the one for my school.
Now, did you follow the instructions I sent you guys?
No.
Okay, yeah, so go into website. I gave you detailed instructions on how to do it, because what's going to end up happening is that if you never dealt with MATLAB before, you're going to have to create an account. So all you do is go to mymathlab.com, hit register, but I sent you a course ID that you're going to need. So go into Canvas announcements, and it's like I think it's like the second email I sent, and it gives you instructions on how to log on. So also, if you're using Safari, don't use that. Use Chrome or Firefox, because it doesn't work well with Microsoft with Apple Safari.
Okay, are you talking about the class lecture link?
No.
No.
It got something to do with
Greetings
MATLAB.
and course description.
And then it should be another one that says something about MATLAB. Not MATLAB specifics, but the one right before that. I think that's what it was.
Oh, MATLAB access.
MATLAB access.
Okay.
Yeah. So try those instructions out and let me know if that doesn't work for you.
Okay.
All right.